The story opens in a sprawling high-tech space fleet base, where the newest and most advanced warships gleam under the bright hangar lights. Amid these impressive vessels sits the SS Valkyrian, a stark contrast to its peers. Its hull is bulky and aged-looking, with a design that feels outdated compared to the sleek futuristic warships docked nearby. The Valkyrian is nicknamed the Rust Bucket by both rival factions and even some within its own fleet, a derisive moniker that captures the widespread contempt it inspires. Despite this, Valkyrian's commander, Captain Alara Voss, views the ship not as a relic, but as a vessel with untapped potential. Alara is a young, fiercely intelligent officer who has risen through the ranks not by political connections, but through merit, innovation, and grit. She believes the ship's unconventional design and robust engineering can give it an edge others overlook. The opening scenes introduce Alara and her crew as they prepare the Valkyrian for deployment. The crew is a diverse group of underdogs. Some are veterans passed over for newer ships, others are talented specialists who don't fit the standard mold. Together, they form a tight-knit team that shares Alara's faith in the ship. However, their optimism is tested by the fleet's leadership and rival commanders who openly ridicule the Valkyrian. In strategy meetings and offhand remarks, it's dismissed as obsolete and ineffective in modern warfare. The warships that fly circles around it are considered superior in speed, firepower, and technology. This mockery weighs heavily on Alara and her crew, but it also steals their resolve. Alara faces resistance not only from external voices but within the political hierarchy of the fleet command. Some senior officers see the Valkyrian and its crew as expendable, good enough only for menial patrols or support missions far from the front lines. They refuse to assign it to any critical operations, sidelining the ship to avoid risking valuable assets. Despite these setbacks, Alara remains determined to prove the Valkyrian's worth. She pushes her crew hard, running drills, optimizing the ship's older systems and exploring upgrades that can turn its flaws into strengths. A hint is dropped here about secret modifications or a new technology integrated into the Valkyrian that the crew works on quietly, away from prying eyes. This secret will later become the key to the ship's astonishing performance. The tension builds as the story sets the stage for the upcoming conflict. Rumors swirl of a hostile fleet massing in a nearby contested region. Command prepares for a large-scale confrontation, but the Valkyrian is once again overlooked, deemed too slow and underarmed to play any meaningful role. As the fleet's flagship and other elite warships prepare for battle, the Valkyrian receives orders for a seemingly routine patrol mission in a quiet sector. It's a mission that on the surface seems insignificant, but will soon prove pivotal. The first part closes with a powerful moment. Alara and her crew, despite the derision and doubts cast upon them, stand ready and resolute aboard the Valkyrian. Their determination contrasts sharply with the mocking attitudes they face, foreshadowing the dramatic reversal to come. This opening sets up critical themes for the story: underdog resilience, the danger of underestimating potential, and the importance of leadership and belief in the face of scorn. It invites the audience to root for the unlikely hero and builds suspense for the battle that will redefine the Valkyrian's place in the galaxy. Following the dismissal and mockery of the SS Valkyrian in Part 1, Part 2 shifts into a slower, more introspective pace that deepens the characters and builds tension toward the coming conflict. The Valkyrian embarks on its assigned patrol mission, a seemingly routine and uneventful task that the fleet command deems unworthy of major attention. This quiet zone is distant from the major battlefronts, a backwater sector where no high-stakes encounters are expected. While this assignment feels like a punishment or sidelining, Captain Alara Voss and her crew view it as an opportunity, a chance to prove their worth quietly and methodically. During these early days of patrol, the crew focuses on maintenance and system optimizations. We see them working together to repair the ship's aging components, innovating ways to squeeze extra performance out of its older technology. The atmosphere is one of quiet determination. No grand battles yet, but the crew is busy honing their skills and building a synergy that will be essential in the challenges ahead. A major focus of this part is on the crew dynamics and the relationship between Captain Ilara and her team. The crew is a mix of misfits and overlooked specialists, each with unique skills that don't necessarily fit the standard mold prized by Fleet Command. Some crew members carry the scars of past battles, while others harbor personal doubts about their worth. Ilara's leadership style emerges here as a key element. She treats every crew member with respect and encourages creative problem-solving, fostering a culture of trust and resilience. Through quiet conversations, training sessions, and moments of camaraderie, the crew's loyalty to Ilara and to each other deepens. This emotional foundation is crucial. It's their unity and trust that will ultimately allow them to overcome far greater odds. Meanwhile, rumors circulate among the fleet and within enemy channels about an impending hostile attack. A new enemy fleet is gathering strength, threatening to plunge the region into war. However, these threats seem distant and abstract to many in command, who continue to regard the Valkyrian as irrelevant to the upcoming conflict. The story hints at a mysterious new technology quietly installed on the Valkyrian, a secret that Ilara and her closest officers guard closely. This technology is still in the testing phase, and its exact capabilities remain undisclosed to the reader, creating an air of intrigue and suspense. It represents a wild card, an element that could overturn the expected balance of power. As the Valkyrian patrols the quiet sector, Ilara constantly monitors enemy movements and gathers intelligence, always vigilant despite the mission's low profile. Her instincts tell her that something bigger is coming, and she prepares her crew accordingly. Politically, this part also reveals subtle undercurrents within the fleet's leadership. Some factions openly oppose Ilara's command, viewing her and the Valkyrian as liabilities rather than assets. These political tensions create additional obstacles for Ilara, who must navigate both external threats and internal sabotage. The section closes with a rising sense of foreboding as signs of the enemy fleet's approach become undeniable. Ilara orders the Valkyrian to battle readiness, signaling the end of the quiet before the storm. The crew is tense but ready, aware that their moment to prove themselves is fast approaching. This part builds character depth and suspense, setting the emotional and strategic stage for the coming conflict. It contrasts the earlier mockery with quiet resilience, highlighting how preparation, trust, and innovation can empower the underestimated to face overwhelming challenges. With tensions rising and the enemy fleet closing in, Part 3 thrusts the SS Valkyrian and its crew into their first major battle, a sudden, brutal ambush that tests their mettle and forces them to fight for survival against overwhelming odds. The story opens with the Valkyrian still patrolling the outer sectors, its crew tense but ready after days of heightened alert. Captain Ilara Voss maintains calm and control, reinforcing the importance of discipline and quick thinking in the face of danger. They know their ship is outmatched by the enemy's warships, which are larger, faster, and equipped with far superior firepower. Suddenly, without warning, the hostile fleet launches a surprise attack. The enemy strikes swiftly and aggressively, hoping to cripple any isolated patrol ships before the main battlefront is even aware of the threat. The Valkyrian is caught near the front lines, alone and vulnerable, as the rest of the Allied fleet is still en route. Despite the shock of the ambush, Ilara and her crew react with impressive efficiency. Their prior preparation and cohesion come into play as they quickly execute evasive maneuvers, narrowly dodging devastating volleys. Though slower and less armed than the enemy, the Valkyrian leverages its agility, thanks to clever engineering tweaks made during the quiet patrol, to stay just out of reach of the most destructive attacks. Ilara's tactical genius shines here. Instead of trying to outgun the enemy, she uses unorthodox strategies that exploit the ship's unique features. This includes surprising feints, hit-and-run tactics, and electronic warfare that disrupts enemy targeting systems. These maneuvers confuse the attacking fleet and buy precious time. The story highlights the crew's bravery and skill under fire. Every crew member is vital, from the engineers working furiously to keep damaged systems online, to the weapons, officers timing their shots perfectly. The narrative delves into individual moments of tension and courage, giving the reader a vivid sense of the chaos and intensity of space combat. Amid the battle, A key turning point arrives when the Valkyrians' secret technology is revealed. This advanced system, kept hidden until now, enables the ship to unleash a devastating new form of attack or defense that the enemy never anticipated. The specifics remain mysterious, but imply a breakthrough that could redefine space warfare. With this advantage, the Valkyrian delivers a crippling blow to the enemy's flagship, an enormous warship that was the spearhead of the attack. The flagship's destruction sends shockwaves through the hostile fleet, sowing confusion and forcing them to reconsider their assault. The part ends on a high-tension cliffhanger. Though the Valkyrian has survived and even scored a major victory, it is heavily damaged and still vastly outnumbered. The main Allied fleet is still too far away to provide support. Captain Ilara and her crew must decide whether to stand their ground and fight on, or attempt a risky retreat to regroup. This ambush is the story's pivotal moment, turning the Valkyrian from a mocked underdog into a symbol of unexpected power. It shifts the narrative from skepticism and ridicule to awe and suspense, setting up the next phase of the story where the true potential of the ship and its crew will be tested. After the stunning ambush in Part 3, where the SS Valkyrian crippled the enemy flagship against all odds, the story shifts into a phase of mounting tension, strategic maneuvering, and political intrigue. Part 4 explores how the unexpected victory changes the balance of power and sets the stage for a decisive battle. News of the Valkyrians' remarkable success spreads quickly through the fleet's command structure and across enemy channels. The initial shock gives way to a mix of awe and disbelief. Fleet commanders who once mocked the ship now see it as a real threat, forcing them to reconsider their assumptions about technology, leadership, and strategy. The nickname Rust Bucket is quietly dropped by some, replaced by grudging respect, or thinly veiled envy. Captain Ilara Voss finds herself thrust into an uncomfortable spotlight. While many officers now seek to collaborate with her, others, especially those politically motivated, see the Valkyrian success as a challenge to their authority. These rivals attempt to undermine Ilara by lobbying to have her recalled or reassigned, fearing that her rising prominence could disrupt established power structures within the fleet. Despite this internal opposition, Ilara remains focused on the task ahead. She convenes with her closest officers and formulates a bold new strategy to exploit the enemy's disarray. Recognizing that the enemy fleet will likely regroup and mount a full-scale assault, Ilara devises a plan to use the Valkyrian as bait, drawing the hostile forces into a carefully prepared trap. This plan hinges on precise coordination, advanced technology, and the crew's unwavering discipline. Ilara's team enhances the ship's stealth and communication systems to facilitate the ambush, while training intensifies to prepare for the inevitable large-scale engagement. The crew, once seen as misfits, now embody a highly skilled, unified fighting force. Meanwhile, the political intrigue thickens. Some officers leak false information and sabotage supply lines to weaken the Valkyrian's readiness. Ilara must navigate this internal treachery while maintaining morale and trust among her crew. These challenges deepen the story's emotional complexity, showing that battles are fought not just in space but within political corridors and personal loyalties. The enemy fleet, aware of their previous failure, responds by bolstering their numbers and refining their tactics. Their commanders prepare for a decisive confrontation, intent on wiping out the Valkyrian and crushing any hope of resistance. This raises the stakes dramatically, emphasizing the looming danger and the scale of the conflict. As the story builds to a crescendo, Ilara's plan is set in motion. The Valkyrian stealthily positions itself in a narrow, asteroid-filled region ideal for an ambush. The terrain and hidden weaponry give the smaller ship an advantage against the larger, more cumbersome enemy vessels. The section ends with the Valkyrian awaiting the enemy's approach, the crew tense but resolute. Ilara addresses them, reminding everyone that they are no longer the fleet's forgotten outcasts, but its spearhead in the fight for survival. The phrase, "turning the tide," captures the transformation from being underestimated to becoming the decisive force in the war. This part deepens the narrative by blending strategy, suspense, and human drama. It showcases how innovation, leadership, and resilience can overcome not just enemy fleets, but internal politics and doubt. It sets the stage for the epic battle to come, with the Valkyrian poised to change the course of the war. The climax of the story, where all the tension, preparation, and strategy come to a head in a massive, intense space battle that tests the limits of the SS Valkyrian and its crew. This is the moment where the underdog ship must prove once and for all that it is more than just a forgotten relic. The story opens with the Valkyrian hidden in the asteroid field, its crew alert and ready as the enemy fleet closes in. The asteroid field is both a natural fortress and a deadly trap, full of hazards that make maneuvering difficult, but offer the smaller Valkyrian a chance to exploit its agility against larger, less nimble warships. As the enemy fleet enters the trap, Alara's command and the crew spring into action. Coordinated strikes, electronic warfare, and the secret technology of the Valkyrian begin to wreak havoc on the enemy's formation. The secret system, now fully revealed, provides a combination of stealth cloaking, powerful energy discharges, and advanced targeting systems that amplify the ship's effectiveness beyond what anyone expected. The battle is chaotic and brutal. The enemy fleet is vast and relentless, employing swarms of fighter drones, missile barrages, and heavy capital ships. Yet the Valkyrian's crew leverages their intimate knowledge of the ship's quirks and the treacherous environment to stay one step ahead. Amidst the battle, individual acts of heroism and sacrifice stand out. Crew members go beyond their duties, improvising repairs under fire, taking calculated risks, and pushing the ship's systems to their absolute limits. Captain Alara's leadership shines brightest here. Her calm under pressure, quick decisions, and inspiring words keep the crew focused and united despite overwhelming odds. As the fight rages on, the Valkyrian systematically dismantles the enemy fleet, targeting key command vessels and disrupting their coordination. The enemy's technological superiority and numbers are gradually nullified by Alara's tactics and the ship's unique capabilities. Midway through the battle, the Valkyrian sustains heavy damage. Systems fail, and the hull breaches in several places, but the crew's tenacity and Alara's leadership prevent disaster. The story highlights the tension of near defeat and the crew's refusal to give up, reinforcing the theme of resilience. The climax approaches when the enemy fleet attempts a desperate counterattack, focusing all firepower on the Valkyrian. Just when it seems the ship might be overwhelmed, the secret technology activates at full capacity, unleashing a devastating energy wave that cripples the enemy's flagship and several major vessels simultaneously. This decisive blow turns the tide of the battle. Enemy forces begin to retreat, their morale shattered. The Valkyrian emerges battered but victorious, having taken down what was once thought impossible for a single, mocked warship. The section ends with the crew exhausted but exhilarated, knowing their courage and ingenuity have rewritten the fleet's history. Captain Alara stands on the bridge, proud and humbled, aware that this victory is just the beginning of a new chapter. The story's final part focuses on the aftermath of the monumental battle and the lasting impact the SS Valkyrian and its crew have on the fleet, the war, and the wider galaxy. After surviving near annihilation and achieving the impossible, the Valkyrian's legacy is cemented. In the wake of their stunning victory, the Valkyrian becomes a symbol of hope, innovation, and resilience throughout the fleet. The once mocked ship earns new respect and admiration, inspiring other overlooked or underestimated crews and vessels. The narrative explores how legends are born not only from grand victories, but from the courage and teamwork behind them. Captain Alara Voss is recognized as a brilliant leader who redefined what it means to command. Despite the accolades, she remains humble and focused on the future, understanding that the war is far from over. Her leadership style, grounded in trust, respect, and adaptability, becomes a model for new commanders. The political landscape of the fleet shifts dramatically. Those who opposed Alara's command find their influence diminished, while allies who supported innovation and meritocracy rise in prominence. The story examines how hard-won victories can disrupt old hierarchies and open doors for change. Technological breakthroughs from the Valkyrian secret system spark a wave of advancements across the fleet. Engineers and scientists study the ship's innovations to develop new weaponry, defense systems, and tactics, ensuring the fleet is better prepared for future conflicts. At the same time, the enemy forces are left reeling from their defeat. Their commanders regroup, planning retaliation, but the psychological blow of losing to an underestimated opponent haunts them. The story hints at ongoing tensions and the inevitability of future battles, leaving the door open for sequels or expanded tales. The crew members of the Valkyrian reflect on their journey, once outcasts, now heroes. Their personal growth, camaraderie, and sacrifices are honored, providing emotional closure. Some characters contemplate new paths, while others reaffirm their commitment to defending the fleet and their ideals. The final scenes focus on the Valkyrian, itself scarred but still operational, a testament to endurance and the spirit of those who serve aboard her. The ship is slated for upgrades, but its core identity as the fleet's unlikely champion remains unchanged. The story closes with a powerful message. Greatness can emerge from the most unexpected places, and true strength lies in unity, innovation, and perseverance. The Valkyrian's tale becomes a legend told across star systems, a reminder that those who are underestimated can rewrite history.